it appears. Let's dive in. Once again, this is the Plank of Nations. I can't remember the name of this fort off the top of my head. Been a minute. I think it's been about over a week since I played this fort last.
This is madness!
Madness! Yeet. Does design by humans or whoever you do your socks with do patches, and is there a minimum? I don't have a store on... I haven't had a design by humans store in a very long time, and I have no idea. And what do you mean by is there a minimum? Are you asking, like, if you can order a custom patch? Because most screen printing places, you can just order one thing. They do them by the order. So I don't know and no. Yes, the Fortress of Thick Walls. These walls are V thick. Apparently, I've got an injured human over here. Or not injured human. An injured dwarf. Who's the injured one? Minor. We're afraid. What happened to you? Anyway, so this is a Threatdweller. Threatdweller is on the edge of a good mountain next to a good forest, which is why everything is blue. And also why there is... You mean a skull? Wait, so you want a skull sock? Or a skull patch? I'm confused. I mean, if you can go to a custom printing place and get them to make a skull patch, then there might be a minimum. But, like, if you're ordering something online, it don't matter. But, I use Spring, which is a annoying company to deal with. And, Teespring, I guess, technically. Like I said, an annoying as hell company to deal with. And do they have patches? Apparently they do custom patches. $4 to $12. So apparently they do. So you what you're saying is you want me to make a skull a skull patch so you could buy one? I mean, I would literally make it so cheap that I'd got no profit so that you could get it for the lowest price possible. Because otherwise I'm just wasting transfer fees money and giving PayPal money. I mean, I guess I could do that. Not right now, but I could do it. Just remind me off stream. And I could make a patch, theoretically. I don't believe I've actually made money off of merch sales in the last 3 years. Anyway, it's early spring. We have 60 dwarves in the fort. The named dwarves are Stone, Farana, Snail, Harry is Gamer, because Harry is Gamer, Hurums, Thalfon, wait, what? Ire Stupid, Diamond, Space Pirate, who I haven't seen in a while, Cutest Ghost as well, I haven't seen all week, Star Legend God, Witcode, and Windigo. So if you would like a dwarf, you can have a dwarf in this fort. Our mayor in this fortress is an elf, who is currently alarmed after seeing a troglodyte's dead body. That's probably why people were injured. The fortress itself is this kind of weird square. The map for the fortress is bigger than normal. Apparently, his army just came back from something. I can't remember what that was. But we're building this big old tower here, and it's been a weird fortress design. Anyway, we have some coffins down here. If I go down a little ways, we have various places that we've been mining. If I go down a little further, you'll see the first cavern layer, and then down here is where we found a lovely lava flow, so I've made magma forges. And then it goes down further, but we haven't gone down much further than that. So this is as deep as we've gone, and we have magma forges on a very shallow layer, on layer 25, because reasons. Looks like, oh, right, yes, I tried to recover glum water, which is an artifact. Anyway, they didn't go anywhere, so yeah. You take dwarf. Do you know what gerb you want? You will be lurking. Alrighty, Seeker. I think you've been doing that most of the time you've been here today. Aside from the very beginning, but... Mostly bans, some games, etc. Gotcha. I mean, sure, I could make you a crypt blank patch if you really want. I don't know if they, like... They probably don't do custom shapes. I would assume because the picture is just like a square. It would literally be like a square patch with a picture of crypt calcium on it. But if you want that, I can make that. Meditate on chaos. So a little bit of behind the scenes on this faction. This faction seems super violent. By that, I mean they're at war with a bunch of different factions, but they haven't actually had any battles with them for a very long time. The other weird thing about this faction, weird fact number 2 about this faction, is that there seems to be very few male dwarves. This fort's a little bit different. There's starting to be more, but at least the first 2 forts I built in this faction, there was almost no male dwarves in the fort, right? Now, that might seem totally normal aside from the weird detail that the queen is a Gelder. So my theory, my game theory, especially considering the fact that all of the gods are lady dwarves, and the only male dwarf that they worship as a god figure is the god of pregnancy, I have a feeling there's a lot of balls missing on my male dwarves. You would like a stoneworker. All right, so Amazon's pretty much, yes. So this is some sort of cult fort. And we're trying, the goal of this fortress is to make a wealthy enough fortress to get the queen here and then drop her into lava. That's the goal of this fortress. Explains all the words? Absolutely. Anyway, so Rolf would like a dwarf. Within the last season, he felt satisfied after at work and was amused after remembering watching a performance. He's 85 years old, born on the 26th of Sandstone in the year 132. He is short and his sideburns are neatly combed. His very long mustache is neatly combed and his very long beard is arranged in double braids. His very long hair is braided and he has a broad chin and his eyebrows are extremely short. His cinnamon skin is slightly wrinkled and his nose is somewhat short. His ears are somewhat short and his head is somewhat short. His hair is pale taupe and is with a touch of gray and his eyes are gold. He's quick to tire and he's slow to tire and quick to heal. Personally strongly believes that a peaceful and ordered society without deceit is best, due to a troglodyte dying in 215. Values peace over war and finds the pursuit of skill mastery to be off-putting. Dreams the ideas of independence and freedom are somewhat foolish, and dreams of creating a great work of art. Finds something humorous in everything no matter how serious or inappropriate, and is completely convinced in his own worthlessness. Hear that, Rolf? You're completely convinced in your own worthlessness. He lives a high-energy kinetic pace and dislikes receiving advice, preferring to keep his own counsel. He forms only fleeting rare emotional bonds with others and prefers that everyone live as harmoniously as possible. And he can sometimes act without deliberation. He does not often feel lustful and he doesn't seek out excitement. He tends to consider what others think of him and tends to be a bit stubborn in changing his mind about things. He isn't particularly ambitious and tries to keep his things orderly. He clicks his tongue constantly when he's trying to remember something, and when he's nervous, he often drums his fingers. He lowers his eyes when he's, he lowers his eyes when he's trying to remember something, and he needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't mind being outdoors at least for a time. So something that that I want to start up today is I want to start up a glass industry. Meaning I have this lovely lava forge here, and up here we've got some malachite smelting smelters, and down here we've got 2 forges themselves, but I'm going to dig out another area, and this area right here is going to be for glass. We're going to do this a little bit, I would say, kind of over here on the side, and we're going to make it kind of an odd shape. And it's going to have, well, maybe not kind of an odd. We're going to make it a fun shape, or I'm going to try my best to make it a fun shape, maybe kind of a circular thing. But it's going to be over here. It's going to primarily be a glass furnace, and we're going to get ourselves a big old glass industry up and running. And you might be going, Streamer, why are you building a big old glass industry? And it's like, well, so I can easily pump lava. because glass makes it very easy to pump lava. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be setting up a glass industry, and we're going to be getting it rolling. There is a whole lot of sand up on the surface, so this should be a pretty smooth setup, I would say. And yeah, that's the plan for the day. But yeah, Hobo, if you're fine with it being like a square, probably, yeah, I guess I could do that. But yeah, I don't know. I will make it cheap enough that I won't make profit, so that it's just as cheap as possible. I don't want you to spend like $15 on a patch. That seems a little silly. But yeah, so that's what we're currently working on. That's what today's going to be. The only reason I make it sound like this is all that I've done today is for the people who get to watch YouTube, because they're just like, wait, how long was this stream? Why did you only upload 2 hours of it? Blah! I was like, well, you see, because I uploaded the first half 5 days ago. Anyway, to those of you who only just got here before I went on vacation, for those of you who only just got here before I went to go grab snack, how's your day been, chat? What you been up to? Hope it's been well. At the minimum. Great on the best. I get to go up a mountain over the weekend, and I'm excited. I like walking up mountains. Walking up mountains is fun. Vacation of records? Yeah, vacation of records. Turns out I went on vacation last month, and I'm still thinking about it because I have credit card bills to pay. Oh, also, fun fact, my rent is in fact going up by more than I thought it was. I knew my rent was going up, but and it turns out they're actually raising it more than I thought they were, and I'm sad. So my rent's going up by $16 or $60 a month instead of just 15. Sad. 60 instead of 15. Like, yay, paying rent. Woo. Just kind of a mean bait and switch, but also it's a more legitimate amount. Makes more sense. Gotta love landlords, eh? Like I've said 100 times, I'm at the very least, my landlord's cute, so I don't mind seeing her, but doesn't make it hurt any less when my rent prices go up. And it's Annie been, wait, what? Your day's been, oh, because it's what, 43 minutes past midnight, I'm guessing? Stone? Investments are open. Diamond, you can do the dumb and big invest again if you're still here. I think you are. Garbage dump, pen and pasture. So I'm setting this as a pen pasture. So I can be all like, yo, guys, put the troglodytes down here. I think that this works this way. Let's see. Can I throw troglodytes into the water? Or into the lava? Let's see. Pen pasture troglodyte. Holy shit, it does. I'm a bad person. I'm throwing troglodytes into lava. I also have a giant cave spider, I think. Yeah, I do. I super duper do have a giant cave spider. The elves have arrived to trade. I just want to see if they can actually just like throw them up. Oh. Well, the plan would work if they actually threw them. Turns out they don't. They just... they just climb back up. Well, that's suboptimal. Turns out, not so great of a plan. Raw adamantine praise. Did someone just fall into the lava? Actually, you know what I think just happened? Yeah, somebody super duper just fell into lava. I was gonna say, you know what I think just happened is Datan the glassmaker fell in here. But it was either that or the troglodytes spotted it. Grumble. Anyway, militia commanders are doing their work. Oops. Less than optimal, but hey. Kind of thought that worked that way, but I guess it doesn't. Oh, that one fell. They managed to get one over the edge. Oops. Come on, guys. Just push them. I need to make it into more of a walk the plank situation, I think. All right, well, let's make it into more of a walk the plank situation then. All right, so this at the end here is going to be a garbage dump. We'll just leave it as a garbage dump for now. All right. While we start to dig out this down here, we have 193 drink. Brew, drink from plant, let's brew 100. We're also going to need to dig out bedrooms pretty soon and various other things. Kind of thinking about putting bedrooms in the caverns somewhere. I was originally going to build them into the tower, but that might actually just end up being work than it's worth. Especially considering, like, building this area out is going to be a pain in the... Yeah, I know. Conglomerate. Let's fill this all in. Make it look cooler. I'm tired of this having a bunch of stuff growing in it. Although... kind of tempted to leave like one chunk of this as like a sand picker upper spot because there is sand here and nothing's going to grow on it. It's just going to stay sand. So I'm thinking about having a couple tiles here to fill bags with sand. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of looking for conversation topics right now. Because, you know, I went on lunch break, and that usually kills most conversations anyway. Plus, chat's just been like a lurky puss all day today, so... I'm just trying to do my gerb. And I keep hitting capital F instead of lowercase f. Fortunately, I only need, like, 2 tiles of sand to be able to make it into an infinite resource, so we're playing that cheese game again. I might play a round of that tonight. I was thinking about doing some Into the Breach today, but I think it's probably going to be easier to just do some cheese on her tonight. Yeah, everybody got a winner that round. It was a good round to invest, let me tell you. You know, it's funny that you say nice colors because, like, here I am just trying to make it brown with all this conglomerate. Yeah, I mean, the nice colors happen when you settle in a good biome on a good mountain. Then all you get are those bauble plants, or bubble bulbs, which essentially are just, like, magical flowers. The nicest part about this fortress, though, for the dwarves, is this fortress has a very, very, very high abundance of sunshine. Not the sunshine that makes you puke and vomit when you see it, but the sunshine that makes the, or sunflowers, sunberries, which make the most valuable drink in the game, sunshine. It's ironic. Dwarves hate sun. or they hate standing out in sun if they don't see sun for ages, but they love to drink sunshine. So I think that's kind of amusing. But thanks, Ray Borga. And welcome to the stream. It's like I generally think of this fort as like being very ugly looking because it's all brown, but I guess it makes up for it with all this. So this zone right here is going to be a sand gathering zone. Ah, so there's the dwarf that fell into the lava. At least it wasn't somebody with a name. Still kind of feel bad, but I mean, those could be worse situations. Not actually sure if I have slabs to engrave that with. Yes, I do. Okay. They did you in twice now? Oh, no. Do you not ever ditch? Ditch is a guaranteed getaway. Yeah, also I was going to ask, Stone, what's your sleep schedule like these days? It doesn't seem like you... It seems like you've been up later recently. Turn that point. Didn't want to lose 100B. That's fair. Oh no, did I lose 2? Shit. Yeah, I lost 2 dwarves. Also lost a gem cutter. Rakos, the stoneworker. Always tries to say nice thing to others. I need dwarves that want to master a skill. Creating a great work of art, not the best. Raising a family, not the best. What, damage that they do to you when you try to run? Because that makes sense. But still, I don't know. I feel like I've had maybe more luck than that running away from things, but... I don't know. I kind of really care about my win rate in that game for whatever reason. I don't know why. I'm kind of mad that I lost one, but... Oh, your sleep. I get you. Whoops. Well... Is there any dwarves out here? I think I'm going to lock the dwarves in a burrow real quick. We're going to get all of these dwarves inside real quick, and then I'm going to lock this door and close the bridge. Give them 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and close. Okay. Anybody who's not inside right now, well, guess what? You're not getting inside. It's for that door right there. Where's the other lever? Where do I have a dwarf tantruming? Apparently there's upset dwarves in this fort. I had no idea. We're going to pull that lever, which I'm assuming is the cavern. Cavern? Starting a fist fight, eh? Well, you didn't, so that's good. Well, I don't really want to go, like, making a bunch of military stuff. I mean, 1,456 copper. else do I need off the top of my head? I'm having to try real hard to not be super sellouty, chat, just because revenue today has been really slow. Today's one of those days where it's like, I've made almost no money today. So I need you guys to like distract me with literally any other subject so I don't just sit here and basically verbally complain. Really hard not to just complain on days like today. Also doesn't help that it's getting hotter in here by the second. I wonder if they finished with the hedge. They probably have. I'm gonna go check. Back in a sec. I'm gonna go see if I can open that door. In the time I had that window closed, it went from 21C in here to almost triple that. To almost triple that, not triple that. It went up to 28C in the time that I had that thing closed. Anyway, we're placing more beds, getting these bedrooms that I started working on last time constructed, or started anyway, so these dwarves can have bedrooms. These dwarves are starting to complain about the lack of bedrooms, so gotta get that problem solved. You're working on a mod, Seeker? I didn't know that. Boiling steam. How the heck would that work? It's like some Fallout shenanigans, that. Just trying to think about how that would work in like real life, not necessarily in a video game. Placing all these cabinets and stuff for beds. It's an early 40k mod. Oh. Well, I must have missed that earlier. It's not that hard to understand what's going on in this game if you just spend like 30 minutes messing around with it, but built that into the thing that it needs to be. Yes, I did. For OG XCOM. Oh, okay. I do remember you mentioning XCOM. I missed the bit where you were working on a mod for it. Are you talking OG XCOM or Open XCOM? Modding OG XCOM is odd when Open XCOM exists. Same thing? No, not at all. One runs on Windows 10, the other doesn't. One's a modern video game, the other isn't. And I think people vastly overestimate how difficult it is to learn Dwarf Fortress all the time. You can absolutely understand what's going on in normal vanilla DF, just takes a couple hours to kind of staring at it, and eventually you acclimate yourself to it. It's sort of like telling somebody, hey, tell me what's going on in detail about what's going on in this end game civilization game from, let's just say, Civ 5. Endgame Civ just looks like a mess of icons. Same with playing Dwarf Fortress, but if you sit down and play the game for a couple hours, it's not actually that bad. People just see scary symbols and they go, I don't know what that means, and then they move on with their life. Maybe you just sit down and play it for a little bit. Steam version won't be any easier to learn than the current version of the game. The difference is the Steam version will have a built-in tutorial, which will obviously help. Aside from that, they're virtually the same game. You can have all the graphics you want in the current game right now. Just have to go pick a graphics pack that looks the way you want it to look and install it. No, it's not. It's a meme, then that's a vast exaggeration for that meme, Bahatome. Are they adding a new UI or something? Go to Steam or itch.io and type in Dwarf Fortress. You'll figure it out in a few seconds. Feel free to ask questions beyond that point. Unless you're on a phone, in which case then I'll explain. What thing? So, people saying they can't understand what's going on in the game? I mean, saying that you can't understand what's going on in Dwarf Fortress is just an immediate admittance of, I haven't taken the time to try. Which is fine. Like, it's totally acceptable to, like, not take the time to learn something. I'm not going to fault somebody for that. I just wish that people were more honest with themselves that, oh yeah, I just haven't taken the time to learn it. It's like, well, you could. You've just chosen not to, and that's totally fine. I choose not to learn things all the time. But Dwarf Fortress is not that crazy. People are like, oh, it makes my eyes bleed. I'm like, I'm legally blind. There's no way in hell I should be able to see any of this stuff by your logic. I don't disagree, Stone. Don't disagree. Well, you know it's not the same thing, but when you have to explain that it's not 2012. Sure, but if you say OG XCOM, my brain thinks like you took a disk and installed OG XCOM and you ripped open the... Ooh, that lobster looks tasty. And you ripped open the files for it and you downloaded some guides or whatever and you're sitting there making mods for OG XCOM. That's what my brain thinks that you're doing. If what you're doing is modding Open XCOM, I think you're doing a completely different task, and that changes the nuance of the conversation. So if I ask, what have you been up to? And you say modding OG XCOM, that's a completely different conversation than modding Open XCOM. Does that make sense? In fact, if you say modding OG XCOM, I'm going to almost assume that you're modding Enemy Unknown before, like, Terror from the Deep or UFO Defense. So, I'm saying from the point of view of somebody who knows way too much about video games, you not being as specific about which version you're messing about with actually makes the conversation more complicated. But, yeah, I digress. You have to look into it more. TLDR, the Addams brothers, well, Zach specifically, but Tarn a little bit as well, they do all right making Dwarf Fortress. You know, like, Dwarf Fortress supports 2 households and multiple people, Zach and Tarn. So because of that, plus, you know, Zach's very expensive dog, Jojo, who's adorable. Also, rest in peace, Scamps, on that subject. But medical costs in the US are fuck off expensive. Did I make like a weird sideways enterprise? I almost did. I made a fat sideways enterprise. Anyway, medical costs are expensive in America, and so that they don't accidentally bankrupt themselves by having surprise medical costs, which could happen in the future, theoretically, based on their current situation, they partnered with Kitfox Games, who, founded by Tanya Short, who wrote this book, alongside of a different book, which is procedural game design and stuff. I can't remember the exact title of it. It's like procedural generation in game design, I think was the name of it. That was the first one. This is the second one. I haven't started this one yet. So he wrote 2 books, or edited 2 books with Tanya Short, the founder of Kitfox Games, partnered with a publisher, and they are putting out a premium version that is identical to the current version of the game, except includes spatial sound, music, a new soundtrack, and there's a Drathla stuck in my fort, a new soundtrack, and What was the other thing? Oh yeah, also a fully reworked UI. Yeah, so that's what's happening. You live nearby, so you know the story? Okay, well then you already know. But yeah, so the premium version is going to have a fully reworked UI, to answer your earlier question. But yeah, they signed the contracts for it in 2018, but started working on it, I want to say it was early 2021? Or no, early 2020 was when they started working on it. So everybody goes on about how, oh, it was announced in 2019. I've been waiting for 4 years or whatever, which is it's getting there. It's getting close to accurate. It's like 3.5. They didn't actually start working on it until last year. You thought Meph was involved? Oh, that's a drama bowl. So Meph, you probably know, was working on a bunch like his mod packs beforehand, right? Well, he did a real bad job of crediting artists. And there was a bunch of allegations about him literally just kind of going into Google and searching for images and using them in his mods, which is fine if you're just modding and it's a free mod and yada yada. But when you're working professionally on art and you are not an artist and all of your art, within reason, comes from a like public use art packs that you don't have permission to use, and people start complaining, what's going to happen pretty quickly is, well, someone's going to complain. Anyway, somebody complained, and then they ran into the problem of, oh, we don't know if the art that he's using for the premium version is his or not, or if he even drew it in the first place. So he's no longer on the project. Dominion 5 sprites in his mods? Yeah, like that's one example, but like basically it led to, it went from allegations to more allegations to more allegations to more allegations, which ended with, okay, so if he's drawn a bunch of items for this, how much of this is actually his art? So yeah, he's no longer working on it. Currently, it's Jacob, who you might know for making Iron Hand, which is an older tile set. A contract artist named Carolyn, who's working on UI stuff, and Mayday, also known as Mike. He always credited you? Doesn't matter if he's always credited you. If he's got other art that isn't credited, that's the problem, right? The problem isn't did he credit some of the artists. The question is, did he credit every single place he acquired all of the art from? Which basically means you're not able to work professionally as an artist if you fail to do that ever. So it doesn't matter if he credited you. What matters is, did he credit everybody? If he didn't credit everybody, then you literally can't work professionally because they can't confirm or deny anywhere that you got any of your art from ever. Oh, I know what it stands for. I'm just saying that it doesn't matter. I'm well aware of what that stands for. I know that he credited plenty of people. He didn't credit everybody. That's his fault. It's going all right, Jack Nurk. This is the Plank of Nations. We are in Threatdweller. This is my good biome fort on a good mountain, building a good tower for good dwarves. You done fucked up in Troy? Yeah, pretty much. It sucks. It's a shitty situation all around, but long story short, he doesn't work there anymore. Which is a shame. I quite liked the stuff that he put together, and he put together a good, like, community pack, but if you want to work on a thing professionally, you can't have questions about where your sprites came from. For just to give you an example on how serious of a situation it was, it has been 4 months since that happened, and they haven't shown footage of the game yet because there are still items that he worked on that are getting replaced because there was a lot of allegations that there was sprites in the game currently that were traces of sprites that he took from other places. Plagiarism is very serious, and if Dwarf Fortress launched with stolen sprites in it, would have been bad. Even if they're like color copies or traces that have been modified, nope, you can't have that. So They literally had it's put the art team behind because they've had to redo a large portion of the sprites in the game. We don't know quite the scale of it, but I don't know, if you listen to any my recent interviews with Zach and Tarn, they do bring it. The topic does come up, and it's always here's just this long list of things that they're still having to do because that whole thing put them behind. So it really sucks that they were working with Meth, but is what it is. It is what it is. What are you upset about? Acquire something, we have to wait for family. You know what? Let's just start making copper rings. Let's make 100 copper rings. Give them something to acquire. And this is going to be my glass factory, basically. Banned on certain exports? Is there a place to read up on this? God. So, hold on. Let me see if I can get... This was a couple months ago, so let me see if I can get you the forum threads. The short answer is yes, but... Here is a link to KitFox's statement from Reddit. And this is the thread of the kind of drama going down, if I'm not mistaken. See if I've landed on the right spot. Yeah, because this was back in November. So it's Jesus, it was back in November. God, I thought it was more recently than that. Yeah, if you read that thread and look at that post, it'll give you a pretty good idea. Also, in the comments section of that post on Reddit, there's a whole bunch of stuff. I also have a video on it, but my videos are very brief. Like, here's an overview of what the fuck happened, why. It's more of like just the... I don't like covering drama, so it was more of just yeah, here's a very short version. Which I basically already gave you. Starting a fist fight. All right, we need cops. That's it. We need cops. We need cops. Did someone die? Population went down. Oh, actually, I know. It's because that dwarf's tantruming. Okay. Where can I put a prison? Well, if those are coffins... How about this is prisons? I don't need that to be that long. It will need to be that long eventually, but not right away. Yeah, time flies real fast. I'm going to make... I think I'm actually just going to make my mayor, that elf, into the captain of the guard. I don't like having one person have all of the jobs, but I really don't feel like making an extra office right now. It's more out of laziness than any... Well, you know what? Fuck it. This crafts dwarf can have the job. Tekid, you can have the job. You do not explicitly control dwarves unless they're in the military, but even then you still don't really explicitly control dwarves. So, no. You suggest dwarves. Yeah, that's a pretty good way of putting it. You give them approximate commands and tasks, and then they fill out the rest. Unless you're playing adventure mode and then you can control a party of whatevers. They could be humans, dwarves, goblins, elves, badger people. 2 dwarves and a pet donkey. Well, I mean, that's up to the player whether or not you want to ignore those that go insane. It's just like Majesty. You know, I've never played Majesty, but I'm familiar with the franchise. I would say. All right. Pause. Let's get this throne built. What? Dwarf was found dead. Where, though? There's literally nobody there, though. Okay. All right. Assign location. Captain of the guard gets that. Let's go down here. Going to install chains. Although I think those are ropes. Yep. Also, hey, what's up, Christus? How's things? There are no parties now. Dwarves can't be trusted with the right. What? You talking about? I'm not sure what you mean, but used by justice. Used by justice. Let's see. Who's committed crimes? "57 days in prison against Diamond for what? Oh, for violating a production order. Of course, Diamond goes to prison." Ow. I think we've hit an aquifer. Aquifer these nuts. All right, hold up. Cutest and my manager. Sure. What are you doing, though? Ah, you are managing work orders. And Fob gets a beating. That's fine. I mean, they still kind of have parties. Not entirely sure what you're referring to. I think I know what you're referring to, but they still kind of do. I mean, I don't know what you'd call dancing in a tavern, if not a party, but... Anyway, Ravid has been taken by a mood. Ourselves a Fey mood. What you going for here? Unlike my other forts, I'm not caring anywhere near as much about their mental health. Nor in Long Death, I care very, very maniacally about how well the dwarves are doing. In this fort, yeah, don't care all that much. As long as they're not all immediately dead, I don't actually care that much. Need more barrels. Well, actually, do rock pot. Plenty of rock crafters. We should do rock pots. Yeah, no, they were, but they still kind of have parties. It's just not in the old school sense. Oh, I didn't need to make that other dump zone because I have this one. Duh. Totally forgot about this lower zone. Where did that strange mood go? There you are. Yeah, hopefully those links satisfy your need to figure out what happened with Meth. So it's a weird thing, but it's also like kind of foggy in my memory because it was a while ago now. Okay, what do you still need? You have lignite, Patana's coal, citrines, Stranic and Moldog bone, oval citrine cabochons, cut gems, logs, probably actually logs. I'm almost certain it's logs. Pretty sure I'm out of wood. You're feeling a bit cold again, which you're very happy about. Yeah, it's cooling down in here now that I open the window up again. I don't have the AC on right now. I just have the window open. It's nice. Heats up ridiculously fast in here with all the windows shut. You couldn't leave the house during the heat wave, you'd have died. A lot of people would have. All right, some humans have arrived to trade. But I'm worrying about this strange mood. You're amazed there aren't weather shelters? Depends where you go. Although, I feel like just making air conditioning mandatory for all buildings might be cheaper than building weather shelters. But I think it does depend on where you go in the world. There are places in the world that have such things. Hello, what's up, dude? How's things? We're chilling. Probably gonna sit back down pretty soon. My back pain has been pretty bad, so I can't really stand for very long periods of time. What if I just made everybody's life easier and expelled you? Did I lock a dwarf out of the fort? I very much locked a dwarf out of the fort. I gave you time to get back into the fort there, dwarf. I really, really did. Size. It's not my fault they weren't able to get back into the fort, okay? I definitely could have waited longer, I know, but... I didn't, okay? It's fine. There is a stone in this fort, yeah. Stone is a carpenter currently who's eating. And she is delighted remembering a performance. She's 88 years old, born on the 28th of Sandstone in the year 129. I wonder if the were creature stone is still alive. Made some lifts move? Oh, that's good. Gotta sit down. They might already be. We don't have such details of their mind, though. Rovad, the engraver, has created Gamathanul, a lignite earring, and claims it is an heirloom in the name of the family ancestor Odam Furana. And this is a lignite earring. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with table-cut citrines and decorated with feather wood. And this object is adorned with hanging rings of naked Moldog bone and menaces with spikes of bituminous coal and citrine and bayberry wood. On the item is an image of dwarves in lignite. The dwarves are laboring. The artwork relates to the foundation of Threatdweller by the ancient beard of the Plank of Nations in the early spring of 212. I am well aware, Stone, but we don't know that level of detail about the dwarves. So what I'm saying is they might already be. I don't know what that dwarf's pronouns are. I just know what the game tells me by their physiology. I don't know anything about any other details of that dwarf. So all I'm saying, they might already be. You don't know. Pretty sure that dwarf knows more about that dwarf than you. Hateful after being confined. It's pretty rough. Imagine being hateful after being confined. Also a human. And a goblin. Look at that. Visitors. How pleasant. All right. What, for the human that ran by? I could grab them again if you want. Sorry, I'm still in long death mode. I was playing long death up until like an hour ago, so I'm still kind of operating in that play pace, which is a lot faster, trying to just get out of menus quickly. We have Sasha and Etan. Etan's a dwarf. They're probably going to go ask to stay, if I had to guess. Means dread. Well, that sounds lovely. I'm sure they write great poetry. Let's sell all the crappy clothing that we have in the fort and bring a trader over. No grates can be exported. That's great. We can do that. This is going to be the captain of the guards. Space to exist. Here. It's very goblin. Well, I'm glad that you've confirmed that the name is very goblin. Gonna be gobbling up the competition. Speaking of, the Bronze Senses wish to reside in Threatdweller for the purpose of entertaining citizens and visitors. And I'm gonna say yes. Because I would love to have some more poets in the fort. And another human. So we now have 2 dwarven poets, an elf poet, and a dwarven poet, and a human. We want this to be a multicultural fort. We got 2 goblin here that argued about the proper goblin armor color. All I can say is you just like triggered some pre-lifetime memory that I forgot I had by stating that, because you just reminded me about that entire quest line. Thanks, Krista. I do my best to forget everything that I remember about RuneScape as often as possible. Like, it's generally one of my goals to not remember anything about RuneScape. But every now and again, people will say things like that, and I'll be like, oh my god, I fucking remember RuneScape. Ah! And that's about how my brain goes. All right, let's trade for that cloth. Cloth and leather. Cloth and leather. Gonna make some clother shops. So I gotta fly down here. And I gotta do like this, and 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 like this. And that'll do. I used to play a shit ton of RuneScape in like 2007. Before I knew what good games were. And now I choose to not play RuneScape, and my life is much better. I would advise you do the same, in fact. NG appears in 65 human words. That's 67% frequency. An odd statistic. What, RuneScape is the only non-cookie clicker game while watching streamers? Well, I would like to point out that another game that you can play while watching streamers is Cheese Runner, which is a game about trafficking cheese in the illicit underground in a cyberpunk dystopia, which you could play while watching streamers. And then you could try and beat this streamer's high score, because there's literally like 50 people on the leaderboard, because not a lot of people have played that game. So because of that, there's a lot of space for, you know, competition on that leaderboard. And because both me and Stone are on that leaderboard, you can compete with us if you want. Try and beat our scores. I think Stone's trying to be number 1. Apparently we have struck Lapis Lazuli. You should try it. You love cheese. I mean, it's a game about drug smuggling, but it's cheese for some reason. It's also like just a couple dollars. I've just been promoting it because I want more people to play against on the leaderboard. That's literally the only reason why. Let's make 5 rock doors. Let's also promote those copper works up to the top. So once those Doors get started. And plop a door in there. Then we don't need to worry so much when I spread the lava down here. Let's make a couple of magma glass furnaces. Yeah, what is this? Oh, it's just diorite? Wow. Don't really have much lava-safe material in this fort right now, which is kind of weird. Also, chat investments are open if you want to invest your tickets. Let's see. I'm also going to chuck my hat in the ring. Unfortunately, lost quite a few not too long ago, so I'm going to try and slowly crawl back. BRB calling out the community manager of Kit Fox Games for commenting on the fact that Vampire Survivors is her 13th most played game, but Boyfriend Dungeon isn't on that list. Gotta call her out on that. Warframe is number 1. Cookie Clicker is number 3. Man, she doesn't even have 200 hours on Cookie Clicker? Jeez. Alexandra, you gotta pick it up over there. Come on. You're slacking. Speaking of slacking, chat, what's your most played game on Steam? Just a fun question to ask. There we go. Where would one check? You go to your Steam, you go to your profile, you click games. Then you wait for the very long list to load. You think Terraria? Long live the Queen? That's the I think I know the person who made that game. Long live the Queen. Is this? No, that's okay. That's not the one I was thinking of. This is the Queen management game. Not the game I was thinking of. $1.2K hours Sasa play? Not hard to like. That's respectable. Good work. Idle Champions 7. You know, I appreciate you admitting the Idle Champions being number 1. And I'm also going to be completely honest that once I get the Steam version, I'm just going to let it idle for like 3 months. Just so that it's somewhat representative. The second I get the Steam version of Dwarf Fortress, I'm just going to let that shit idle. Like, I kind of wish they'd let me have it right now, even though I know for a fact that, well, up until recently, it's been a placeholder, older version of Dwarf Fortress that's just there so that they have an entry, but... Are we reporting our Steam games with the most hours? I asked people what their most played games were because I was curious. NGU Idle 2 at 2.5K. Melvor Idle at 798. Hobo, you could probably do like a comprehensive review of the best idle games on Steam at this point based on how many you played. Since 2014. I mean, 890 hours is not that much for a multiplayer game, especially over that period of time. No, it's not that much. Skyrim is 184 and you played the same amount on the PS3 originally? Damn! 1,099. That's respectable. I mean, my number one on Steam is RimWorld. Not by a long shot, but number one on Steam is RimWorld, 2,679 hours. It's probably over 3,000 though if you include the pre-Steam version. 1,783 hours, which also isn't accurate, but that's because it would be way more than that. In Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, Cookie Clicker 1,581. Planet Coaster is 1,000 on the dot. I did let it idle the last two though. Elite Dangerous is 440. Jupiter Hell is 402. City Skylines is 400. Risk of Rain 2 is 357. Risk Caves of Cud is 242. American Truck Simulator is 200 on the dot. Parkitect is 152. Surviving Mars is 135. Skyrim is 133. Hunter Call of the Wild is 128. Battlefield Bad Company 2 is 118. Battletech is 105. Dungeon Defenders is 75. Mud Runner is 73. Songs of 6 is 71. Grand Theft Auto 5 is 65 hours. Project Zomboid 64. Brigador is 63. Conquest of Elysium is 62, etc. Second highest is Soda Dungeon at 392. It's respectable. How are you reading these in order? Does nobody know that you just can like look at that via... Okay, you go to your profile, right, on Steam, click games. It literally gives you that by default. I have a couple games on Steam. I like how all the way at the bottom, H1Z1 Battle Royale. Never played it. Then Zomboid was 600. Zomboid's pretty good. I don't know, this is like one of the oldest features in Steam. It was like one of the first things they added when they added profiles. Apparently I don't have enough people making rock pots. Are unscrewed up except for one idol. True, yeah. If a lot of people had like... Oh, so Diamond, if he's still lurking, I'm not sure if he is, went insane during 25 days in prison. He was hateful after being confined, which is like the worst possible thought you can get, and went insane. Well, that's unfortunate. Mayhaps we should lock him in here and then just pull the lava. Purchase 14th of June. That's not too bad. There was this one review I saw pretty recently, and I want to say it was a V Rising. This person had 70 hours, and they're like, I bought this game 4 days ago. Help. It's like 70 hours. Probably haven't like done anything else. It was like on a Sunday after a weekend. It's like, well, if you bought it Thursday night, yeah, that checks out pretty much. All right, let's get some lava flowing, shall we? You have more hours in Cogmind than FTL? Is it in poor taste to say that Cogmind's better than FTL? All right. I need to make a custom stockpile for furniture. Sandbags. What's the cloth I have the most of? Because I need cloth. 210? Silk, okay. 120 silk bags. All right. Wish the poor dwarf who's tasked with doing this good luck, chat. Well, they didn't die. Never mind, you didn't have time to wish them luck, but they also didn't die, so that's pretty good. And autumn has come. A dwarf showed up to do that job way faster than I was expecting. You know, I saw a game pop up on Steam the other day that was like this anime titty game, and let's see if I can name it correctly. No, I can't actually find it. But it was literally called like Lost an Ark or something. Wonder if it's still on Steam. It's not Lost of Ark, Lost the Ark? Nope. Can't find it now. But there was a game, I stumbled upon a game on Steam the other day called, literally, it looked like Lost Ark, but it was actually like a visual novel thing. Just I was like, that looks not like Lost Ark, but all right. Anyway, this is flowing out into here now, which is going to be our other lava reservoir. This one's going to be for making glass. Gonna set a collect sand job. We're gonna start filling bags with sand. Need empty bag. Well, construct silk bags then. A thief! Protect the horde from skulking filth. It's a cobalt. All right. I'm gonna go over here. It's cloth, leather. Yeah, I don't really have a stockpile where they could put those. So I'm assuming we'll be able to collect sand any moment. All I can say is that if you're shortening the name of a game to something else that is the name of a different game, you're a bad person. Or anyway, that's just my opinion. So if you, like, say if you're referring to Lost Ark, right? But you just call it Ark, all that does is add unnecessary confusion to people who don't need it. So you're literally just making things more complicated versus less complicated because you're potentially confusing people. And you will gain the amount of time back that you save for every single time you go, it's the other game and people get confused. That's like all of the people that seem to think that they can abbreviate Dead Space to DS. Sorry, that's a Nintendo DS or a Dark Souls, not a Dead Space. Someone in a chat that I was in on my days off this past weekend was unironically referring to DS as Dead Space. My dude, it's Dark Souls. Stop it. So glass tube. Green glass tube. 40. Glass cork. 40. That's 4, not 40. Glass cork. Now we can get started on that glass. There's a masonry demonstration happening here. Look at that. How cool is that? DF made you think, if you were fans of Dangerously Funny before I was like... I mean, DF is actually a pretty good example of that. It's like, is Dwarf Fortress the biggest thing in the world that abbreviates to DF? You know, I'm going to open up an incognito tab. I'm going to go to the Google. I'm going to type in DF, see what pops up. Okay, so the first result is a Wikipedia page for DF in Unix, which is the abbreviation for disk-free, a standard Unix command for the display of the amount of disk space. So it's all Linux. It's literally all Linux. Oh. Apparently, a DF, according to the Urban Dictionary, is a catch-all term for an abbreviation for dating a friend. So a DF is a friend that you date in order to either refer to a partner of unknown or hidden gender. I've never heard anybody say that before. More IBM commands, more Unix commands. More Unix commands. Yeah, I would say that Dwarf Fortress is probably the biggest video game that abbreviates to DF. Otherwise, something else would have popped up by that point. Looks like Wilmer has arrived. This is one of my favorite things about this faction is Wilmer is the outpost liaison from the mountain home, who's one of the dwarves from my previous fort. Which is one of my favorite things about this. I would say that the Urban Dictionary, although, hold on. The Urban Dictionary does have my favorite definition for sarcasm. Urban Dictionary, sarcasm. I don't think this is a very good definition for sarcasm, but the definition of sarcasm in the Urban Dictionary is the ability to insult idiots without them realizing it. Which is just way too funny to me. I think I know the answer, but to be sure, is there an end game for Dwarf Fortress, or do you just keep building a bigger building? Dwarf Fortress is the original make-your-own-fun game. Quite literally. It's the original go fuck around and make up cool shit and build cool shit, and when you're tired of it, go build other different shit. That's Dwarf Fortress. No, this isn't Long Death Proms. Also, I mean, Long Death runs at about... Long Death runs consistently at about 40 frames a second. This is running closer to 60. This has 61 dwarves in it right now. I mean, there. If you want to say, like, is there an end game for Dwarf Fortress? Adventure mode, I would consider end game to be fighting with angels. In Fortress mode, I would consider end game to be fighting with demons. But, or like slaying a dragon in adventure mode. Like that would mean that you've reached end game, but there is no like credits sequence in Dwarf Fortress, and I don't think there ever will be. Or like theoretically, I guess like getting the king in your faction's king in your fortress could be like an end game scenario because there's no more things that you can really do to advance your fort forward beyond that point. You can fight angels from Fortress mode. I have a fort in this world, which is right here, called Angel Razor, which is one of my favorite names for a fort. We also fought with demons in this fort. We lost, but we actually won. Anyway, this fortress of Angel Razor killed hundreds of angels from it. We raided the spires and killed angels. Lots of them. Yeah, so there are like, that's like end game difficulty. Angel Razor, like Hellraiser, you got it. I thought it was a good name. It was pretty. It was like I think it was a randomly generated name. I was like, this is just too good. I have to stick with it. But yeah, Angel Razor was a pretty good fortress. I'm quite happy with it. You're off to bed. You have a good one, Rolf. Sleep well. Wow, we 9 hours into swim. Wilmer says, I'm your liaison from the mountain homes. Let's discuss your situation. There's much to share. We've updated your maps. What requests do you have of our merchants? Oh, let's say, because you literally have no useful materials. Just bring me fucking anvils. And I look forward to our meeting next year. Our fortunes rise and fall together. Just looking around to see if there's been any movements in the world. Not much. Not much at all. Sell those shields. We'll make 50 more. Fine. I'm also kind of curious about how much power I could get from the surface up here right now. What just happened to all my conglomerate block? Guess I don't actually have as many as I thought I did. Oh. Apparently I did build glass forges down here. Kind of funny. Well, at least this is filling. Chat, say goodnight to Rolf, by the way. Man, this month has been such a mixed bag. Like, I've had some really good days this month. And then there are days like today where it's like, look at my revenue on the whole day, and it's like, yeah, you made $3. It's actually kind of like laughably amusing. This job is such high highs and such low lows. Right. Well, that's almost done filling, which means the amount in there is going to actually start filling up. Once it gets to that far wall. Right about now. Nope. It's not a volcano. There's just a lava tube in the first cavern layer. So no, it's not a volcano technically. Just a lava tube. You know what? Fuck it. I don't want this here anymore. I don't want that dwarf to do this, though. I like that dwarf. Don't you fall. He's gonna fall. Yeah, I'm literally like, I don't want this dwarf to do it. And then... Alright. Whew. Shoutouts to not falling. Didn't lose his balance. Huzzah! Maybe just collapsed a construction into lava. Nobody's on fire, yeah? Nobody's on fire! Yay, no casualties. Woo! This is what happens when you make a fort where you're just like, dwarves' well-being, optional. It's fine. Which is kind of how I've been about this fort. Whew. It was close. All right, so I desperately need a nicer tavern. I don't really have a good place to put it, though. So I could put it in this wall down here, which is, I think, where I'm going to put it. Or I could put it, like, further underground. I was thinking about, you know, because this is a temple, not a tavern. It's the Horns of Cremation, which is a temple, not a tavern. I'm thinking we put some stairs going down here. Make this into a tavern down here. I'm going to remove these 4 constructions right there and replace them with up-down stairs. We're going to go down into here. And this is going to be our tavern. Because I need a tavern, and I needed a tavern a while ago. But yeah, no, this world, Jacknarok, has heavy rain and also high volcanic activity. So there's just a lot of volcanoes in this world. It's not like crazy speckled with them, but they're pretty common, meaning most maps will have at the very least a partially formed underground volcano, which is what that is. It's like a halfway formed volcano or whatever. It's just a really fun biome, and that was kind of my goal when building it, was to make a fun biome. Or rather, a fun fort. All right, so now I gotta dig this out. Still kind of pinging for conversation topics. If anybody has anything they want to talk about, feel free to break up a conversation. Today has been weirdly lurky, even by my normal standards. It doesn't mean you need to apologize, but it does mean my job is harder than normal. Because otherwise I just get stuck in my rambles. So if anybody's got anything they want to talk about, Dwarf Fortress related or otherwise, just give me a shout. Any kind of conversation topics would be appreciated right about now. Let's do that. That'll be fine. Kind of a fun shape. Also get that removed. Cancels Forge Copper Helm. Reason oblivious. Well, I don't know why you started in the first place then. That or it just means that we'll swap off of Dwarf Fortress sooner rather than later, chat. So, it's up to you guys. More conversations, the longer we'll play Dwarfs today. The fewer conversations, the more tempted I am to just swap to a different game. But, you know, regardless, we're being productive. Collecting sand. We've built a new, bigger magma forge for glass, which is still filling. It's filling at a decent rate, though. Digging out a tavern, digging out a new channel for other stuff, so I can, like, not accidentally dig through a wall. Yeah, the whole goal for this fortress is to convince the queen to join the fortress and then replace the queen. Currently, the population is just locked at 60, so I can't actually get migrants above 60, but we're going to crank it up to 200 pretty soon. I just want to have enough housing and everything in the fortress actually mostly constructed, but the fortress is pretty far from being mostly constructed because I want to build a second tower over on the far side, and I want to do all of that before I start getting invaded, and we're going to start getting invaded if I bring in the full population. So we're going to wait a little bit longer before I do that. Okay, Stone. Thank you for the conversation topic. It's been almost 10 minutes since anybody said anything. Today's been like terrifyingly lurky. Like if every stream I did was this lurky, I would be concerned for my future. I just know this is abnormal, so. I was gonna say that would be a big diary if you've been keeping the same one. Unless it was like a weekly diary or something. I tried journaling because I don't like the word diary. Feels too old-timey, but I tried journaling at the beginning of this year. I started around February and I lasted about 3 weeks, and then I just kind of went, fuck this. This isn't helpful. It's not mentally helpful. It's just an annoying task I have to do in the evening, so I stopped pretty quickly. wasn't something I enjoyed the process of at any point. Some people talk about it like it's this therapeutic thing, but I think it works for me. Not something for me. It was mostly bullet points. Got you. That's what I tried doing too, but like I said, it just didn't work for me. I don't like writing. I don't mind typing. I feel like I could keep one digitally, but I won't see the point of doing it digitally. I don't feel like giving my life's history to Google more than I already do, and I would probably end up doing it in Google Docs, and I don't really want to do that. So yeah, it's not gonna happen. Yeah, diaries are something that I know my older sister used to keep one, but not something that I've ever really done or thought much about. Period. Wait, on a notepad. You mean like notepad is in the software? Or do you mean a notepad is in like a piece of paper on a notepad? Because wouldn't that require you to touch paper? Oh, so like as in like, so you're talking about like the PC platform. Because that makes some sense, but otherwise it'd be like, how does that work? If you don't like paper, then why would you use a notepad? This is the weird way to write that. If you say do it in a notepad, people will think you're talking about a physical notepad. If you say I write it using notepad, people will think that you're using the software notepad. I mean, it's more of a fault of the naming of the software notepad. But if you didn't say then I would know what you meant. The fact that you said a notepad means it's a physical thing, but if you just said I write it in notepad, I would know that you're talking about the software, but that's because the English language is bullshit and full of semantics, so. Actually, you know what? Let's leave that last corner in there. Kind of like that last corner. All right, dwarves, smooth this shit. God damn. This dwarf's entire life was ruined because I got put into solitary confinement for a month. Jobs removed from unpowered glass furnace. Well, the lava's still filling, clearly. I wonder if I ask that question more than the average person. Oh, so I did. So I did. Why did I put that in there? Oh, the I in there? Oh, I see what you're saying. You're deconstructing your own sentence. I was confused. I was like, what do you say? Oh, you're deconstructing your own sentence. But yeah, chat, this entire stream is very conversation based. I've never been very good at just kind of illustrating what I do in the game, and because I have been streaming for 9 hours and 15 minutes, if chat doesn't pick up in kind of the next 10 minutes, I think I'm going to swap games. Up to you guys, though. If chat picks up, we'll keep streaming Dwarfs. Otherwise, I will go play something else. In your most used emotes, the, which one even is that one? Crypt Knockoff, yeah. I quite like Crypt Knockoff. That's a good emote. You did a good job on that terrible emote. Since terrible was the intention. I'm going to do glass table. 20. Glass throne. I meant to do 20, but... And I'm going to cut 2 bits right there through there. Cut 2 bits through there, right there, and we're going to have a little walkway going across, I think. Better than the RM segment. It's a pretty good emote. Tis in fact a pretty good emote. We can build a little walkway here. Kind of wish they'd do the other side. There they go. Perfect. And we can do the walkway across here too. And this in a few moments will be a lovely little gateway into a lovely little tavern. Very busy fort. Lots of construction going on. This fortress is practically just a construction site currently. I mean, it is a planned fortress home ground, I would say. We're gonna have to collect more sand pretty soon, I think. Want those tables and thrones done first. I'm actually just going to mine through these 2 doors. Put this up in the middle up here. Imagine just being like, hey, Dwarf, we have to cut through your sleeping space so that we can, you know, do the thing. It's already been another season. Hell yeah. Also, I appreciate you, Stone, helping me start conversations. If only my moderators weren't such lurkers. I should just mod you, because every stream needs a moderator that talks all the time. Season of whatever it is. I don't know, the seasons don't really change in this map. It sort of... I don't think it snows here. Maybe it... Actually, no, it does snow here. But it's also not very obvious, because it doesn't really pile up enough. It's kind of obvious on the fort itself, but nowhere else, really. So we have another strange mood, looks like. Got a metal crafter in a strange mood who withdraws from society right at the beginning of the season. Hey, Bill. You wouldn't abuse it? Well, you wouldn't use it? I mean, none of my mods ever use it. It's just like the best thing a moderator can do is just hang around and start conversations. Seems unfamiliar. It's not that new. This world I've had running for a while. But this is like my 4th or 5th fortress of this faction. Because this is the Plank of Nations and Threatdweller. The first fort I did in this world was part of the Crimson Pulley, which was Umber Bulwark, followed by Hotbeards, which was right there, followed by Mothfall, followed by Theater Vaults, followed by Union Theater, followed by Angel Razor, followed by joining a different faction down here, which is where we are now, if I can find it, which is behind my camera probably. Which was... where it is. There it is. Murky Mirrors, and then the one that's right underneath it, which we can't see, and now over here with Threatdweller. So yeah, relatively new playthrough. I have to slaughter some animals. But we've got a strange mood metal crafter. Yes, we are reviving the Civ, in fact. Yeah, the reason I call out my mods like that is because often people get modded because they're super active in chat. Oh, shit. Copper bars and yak calf bone. Well, best of luck there. Because literally the best thing a moderator can do is just be active in chat, right? It's the most helpful thing a moderator can do. So me calling out my mods is just kind of like, well, you guys could be the chosen ones, but instead you just lurk all day, which is fine. I don't mind lurky mods. It's good to have silent snipers hanging around. But it's also much nicer to have active mods that just try and engage in conversation all the time. Which, you know. Like, giving somebody mod powers is like the equivalent of putting a permanent mute button on them in this chat. It's been that way for years. Not a big fan of that emote, Cooter Thug. But hello. Silent snipers, yeah. They're just sitting there like with like a waffle bat launcher or a potato gun, waiting for someone to say something stupid. Dwarf just doesn't want to craft, apparently. Well, that's an unfortunate artifact. Ibel, the metal crafter, has created Athanamus Inflascul, a copper ring, and claims it as a family heirloom. It's worth 6,000. Focused Talk the Hardy Coven. This is a copper ring. All craft store ship is of the highest quality. It is decorated with yak bone, and on the item is an image of Dastot Studerim, the dwarf, in copper. A very boring artifact. Use it as a trade good, probably. I missed the fact that most of them were jokes, so I would take that to mean that, yes, they weren't very good. Make some doors. We'll set that as a that up as a conglomerate little roof, which will look lovely. Turns out Twitter's distracting. I should close that tab. All right. Roofing is done on that. Plop down 2 more wall pieces. And we sealed back off. Sweet. This up here needs to get sealed off now. It's dangerous to leave open wall pieces like that. You have to let all gems be mined. If you're commenting on the multicolored walls in this layer at the very least, yeah, those are all gems. But also, I don't know, I kind of like engraving gems. Like just leaving them there and then just engraving them. Some of them are also coal, which I'm not actually doing anything with because I have lava forges, so who needs coal when you have lava? Just my 2 cents, I don't know. It's a bit of a problem. I do that in some forts. I haven't been doing that much in this one. Certainly not for these bedrooms. I don't know if it's a problem. I think it's fine. You'll disrupt your entire bedroom design for another gem. No, yeah, I don't know. I've been there, done that. Done the same thing. This was supposed to be Captain of the Guard's quarters and then didn't get set up. Make earrings. Copper ear ring. Queue 2 of those up. Why not? Fortunately, I kind of have like a list of things I want to get done in this fort. When we get that list of things done, I think we'll swap over to Into the Breach for a little bit. I need rock armor 2, rock wep 2. You still have the Brazil nuts window open? I mean, it turns out Brazil's nuts. Used by justice, used by justice. I'm curious to see how much the premium version changes my habits because every single piece of type of wood is going to be a different shade, right? And currently there's a lot of different stone types that are the same color that are going to be different shades in the future too. So I'm curious to see how much the premium version actually changes up my building habits. I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty immense change. Also, chat room investments are open if you would like to invest your tickets. Exclamation point tickets to see how many you have. Exclamation point invest and then the number you would like to invest. All right, so this gets dedicated to the Captain of the Guard. This gets dedicated to the Captain of the Guard. And this chair, lastly, also gets dedicated to the Captain of the Guard. Still hates us, but at the very least has all of their basics now. Your fortresses all end up looking untidy. Who cares what your fortresses end up looking like? As long as you enjoy the way they look, it doesn't matter. Although, for me, like, the biggest, like, tidiness thing in fortresses is as long as every bedroom has a cabinet, I'm generally okay with the way the forts look. Just because I don't like it when there's just clothes strewn about everywhere. I have a very real, similar feeling about real life as well. Like, if there's just clothes strewn everywhere, I kind of hate the way it looks. But as long as, you know, stuff is kind of relatively tidy, I don't really mind the way things look. I think the Berry Rooms is the name of the tavern. Yep. The Berry Rooms. The Berry Rooms. That's the tavern right now, which I can remove. Which means they will now all move up top. Yeah, that's the one thing that I really mind when it comes to a fortress being tidy or not. Everything but seeds. Can't even imagine doing it. Yeah, I respect that. Here comes the extra rock pots. And, of course, barrels. I mean, this is what happens when you're the only person to invest. The bot can't help but let you win. They just feel bad otherwise. Stone's back on a winning streak. Maybe don't count your chickens, but hopefully it's a winning streak. Okay, so the berry rooms, we're going to go to desired goblets, 100. But there's plenty of goblets in this fortress. I need those offers to get placed in there first. There's a -2. Well, best luck. Hope that the value increase of this significantly nicer tavern increases the general thoughts of these dwarves. Positively. Wow. I think all of the dwarves are going to go grab something at the same time because the whole fortress just like lurched to a halt for a second there. I think it's because of the request to put goblets there. Good tavern, good tower, good biome, good fortress, good dwarf, good day, good morning, good people, good drinks, good void hunter visiting. Jodo, the commander void hunter, is visiting. You know, as you do. Just casual Void Hunter visit. Commander Void Hunter? It is a good rank and a good title. Yep. Oh, shit. Forgotten Beast. Neglidzu has come, a gigantic scaly slug. It has thin wings of stretched skin, and it undulates rhythmically. Its Carillion scales are oval-shaped and set far apart. Beware its poisonous vapors. Holy fuck, that's a fast-moving slug. Well, That is a very fast-moving slug. Seems almost like a... You think slug is bad? Why do you think slug is bad? Slugs are fine, assuming they're not like fire slugs. It's just weird how fast it is. I'm just kind of not a huge fan of how much it's climbing the walls like that. I guess it can just fly, right? Yeah, it can just fly. That or it's got extreme amounts of climbing skill. Yeah, it can fly. Okay. That's actually really scary. The fact that it's got vapors and can fly. I mean, it could also just fly into my fortress if it could actually fly. So if it can actually fly, it kind of sucks. So I'm going to do a test, Stone. You don't need to do this. Chat, can I get a round of beers? For good luck against the fight against this slug. This flying slug of death. It's like this made-up creature that kind of became an internet myth for a bit, which is the Alaskan jumping slug. Doesn't actually exist, but a made-up internet creature. Similar to the tree octopus. Another made-up internet creature. Why don't you just come fight with me? Holy crap, someone else unlurks for the first time in 25 minutes. Hi, Infinity. If I didn't really want to stream long today, I would have ended the stream an hour and a half ago. It's been so lurky. Okay, here we go. Oopsies. It's down in the fortress now. Forgotten Beast seems to have caught in a few dwarves. Okay. Looks like one of its wings has been cut off by an Axe Lord, which is pretty good. So it's down on our level. It's stuck down here. The Axe Lord hacks at the Forgotten Beast in the left wing with its copper battle axe, tearing it. Seems like there's also a, well, IR Stupid's in the mix, who's a herbalist with no weapons. So there's that, who's dodging around the thing. The herbalist appears to have been missed by it. Well, that's good. Axe Lord hacks the Forgotten Beast in the wing again. Yeah, in the left wing, tearing it. Okay, let's just let time move. Everybody seems to be dodging pretty efficiently. That Axe Lord kicked the Forgotten Beast in the body with the left foot bruising the fat. The Axe Lord hacks the Forgotten Beast in the right wing with his copper battle axe, and the injured part is cloven asunder. That might still be the old combat log. Bunch more Hopefully this isn't particularly bad poisonous vapors. Axelord hacks the Forgotten Beast in the mouth with her copper battle axe. The injured part is cloven aside. Imagine having your mouth cut off so hard that it flies off in an arc. An Axelord hacks at the Forgotten Beast in the body with her copper battle axe, tearing the scale. All right, well, it's dead now. So let's see how far my military make it. So far, they seem totally fine. IR Stupid says, I had a bath and this could be bliss. Well, I guess showering after getting caught in poisonous vapors is important. I need some more beds in this hospital. I only had one extra. Oh, we got the one extra bed. Now the important question is, are they going to butcher it? Possibly. Looks like Logan the Weaver is going to go butcher an animal. I didn't set the job, so somebody's going to go butcher something. Ha! It is in fact the Forgotten Beast. So currently we have 370 meat. Any bets on how much meat this slug has? Chat room? Anybody? Just type in a number between like 1 and 1,000. $670? We've been mandated to make certain goods. Well, we're up to $799. We were at $340. You get to do the math. 2 earrings. Make 2 rock earrings. Let's make more, or place more thrones. I'm sorry, what? Oh no, is it happening? Aw, man. Poisonous vapors, man. F's for my whole military. Looks like we lost Wendigo, Star Legend God, IR Stupid, and Kodal. And are probably about to lose Witcode. Yeah. Well. Forgotten Beasts. It's a rough life. Well, on the bright side, I do in fact have enough burial spots. Damned slug. Yeah. Looks like I still have 2 military dwarves. Witcode was found dead. I still have Shem and Dubar. Damn shame. Well, on that note, chat room, I basically stated like 30, 40 minutes ago that if chat didn't pick up and get more active with more people, I was going to swap games. So I think we're going to do that. I think it is time to swap games. Dwarves is fun, but it's a bit too difficult to stream with just Stone in the chat. Thank you very much for the valiant effort, Stone. It was much appreciated. But if I can't even get chat to beer, it's time to play something else. But we did make a very good amount of progress today. We built out a tavern pretty quickly. We also built out our prison section properly. Actually, before I forget, let's build an armor stand there, and an armor stand there, and a weapon rack there, and a weapon rack there. And that should mostly sort out Captain of the Guard's needs. If I scroll down a little bit more, we also built this. We lost our military and killed a Forgotten Beast. Pretty good day for this little fortress. We will definitely put in some more time into this fort next week. We didn't play it enough this week. So I think that's it for this for today. And yeah. Brain wants to make blood out of the stone pun. Can only squeeze so much conversation out of this stone. How's that? If chat was more active, I think I would switch over to Into the Breach, but I'm pretty tired and don't feel like big brain thunking my way through Into the Breach. So what I think I'm going to do is we'll save Into the Breach for next week. I think we'll just do a full day of it next week. And my plan for today is we're going to go run some cheese. How's that sound? If Stone likes that game, might as well try and beat your score. What was your top score? Several million, yeah. It's a hard subject to make a pun out of. Well, I mean, when it's a joke made out of your own name, Infinity, it's a lot easier. Just got to do something real quick, sneakily in the background before I launch this. Close this. Whoop. Whoop. And let's jump over to a different directory. Actually, I did. We played like 2 hours and 20 minutes of the Plank of Nations. Not a bad session.